Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm here with Hollister, Malik, and Tyrone on this hot Tuesday evening. We had quite a few topics to talk about, so I'm gonna try to go through them as quickly as possible with the guys. And the first topic, as you can see behind Hollister, is about Sha'cari Richardson. As we all know, unfortunately, she has been suspended from the Tokyo Olympics because of a failed drug test. Now, when I first saw the headline, it is put failed drug test, you get kind of like nervous, like, oh my God, this girl is so epic, so dope. I hope that she wasn't using any PEDs, and come to find out it was weed. Now, I have my own opinion on that, and I do feel that it's kind of ridiculous to say that because, as you all know, I never smoked weed and I never smoked at all. But we all know that weed is not a performance enhancing drug. So for them to suspend her, especially with the climate of the world and things are changing, where the act of smoking weed or eat any hemp or weed type of product like CBD or different things like that is being used and shows to have some level of calming effect or like even like healing properties that people use it. Now, like I said, I don't smoke, I don't get high, so I don't know, but I kind of feel that it's a little bit deeper than just that. And I know water has its things, and we're going to get into that in this conversation, but I just want to touch with the guys and see what their thoughts on it are. So I'm going to go Hollister, Tyrone, Malik, and then I'll close.
All right. So when I first heard about the whole Sha'cari Richardson get suspended, I had a feeling like it was more deeper than what we initially heard. So come to find out, it was 30-day suspension. She accepted it. Come to find out, she was, I guess, using a little weed, to deal with a little pain that she had. Come to find out, her biological mother passed away. She found that out the other day after she finished a race from a reporter. He told her, like, right off the bat. That's how she first found out. So initially, I guess she, people use certain things to deal with the pain. Some people drink, some people do this, some people do that. She went in, I guess, smoked a little weed. It came back and failed drug test. Now they suspended her for 30 days. Now the whole Olympic committee is trying to, I guess, shut her down because I know for a fact that she was going to definitely shatter some of those records during the Olympics because she's on a roll. She's hot. She's young. She's 21. She's going to she's going to take over just real soon. And also come to find out too, a lot of the Olympic committee people, they are actually weed smokers themselves, and they actually invest money in these THC companies as well too. So it's like, how you doing that, penalizing her for that, but yet y'all also investing money in this too. But I'll let the rest of the guys get into it. And I also feel like they went hard on her for it too because of her image. Like she has a bright colored hair, the tattoos. And Michael Phelps did it during the Olympics and clearly have a whole picture of him smoking weed out of a pipe and they ain't do nothing to him about it. But it is what it is. Next Olympics, hopefully, she stays consistent and, bounce back, which I believe in her that she will do. But I just hope, she's okay dealing with the passing of her biological mother and, she come back stronger and better than ever.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it short because I want to feed off Malik and Mike. I have a little info on the Michael Phelps situation, but I'm going to let Malik and Mike talk. But one thing I'm going to say is I had no idea that's a banned substance in the Olympics. All these years I've been watching Olympics. The first Olympics I ever watched was 92. Like I'm old enough to be around for 88, but I never watched, we in 88, I don't know anything about the 88 Olympics, but 92 was the first time I watched the Olympics, with the Dream Team and Carl Lewis and all them guys was, there at the time. I had no idea marijuana was even illegal. So it kind of surprised me because this the same thing you guys thought. When I first heard when my brother sent the group text about it, I'm thinking, oh no, I know she ain't I know she ain't sit there and pop, for PEDs. But then he was like marijuana. I'm like, what? Marijuana? And I'm sitting there getting all upset, like da 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 da. And all the while it was actually a banned substance. So I can't really kill the committee for it because I guess it was in the rules and she was aware of it, or she should have been aware of it. I'm not sure. So I don't want to really gang up on the Olympics too much about it, but I don't really know why that's even a banned substance, to be honest with you. I in my younger days, I've done it. I'm not some weed smoker, like I wasn't some, but friends will have some, let me try that. Like I've done that multiple times. So, it don't look like it make you run faster, if that's the case, I would have smoked it a lot so I could, challenge Usain Bolt. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm gonna let Mike and Melik talk because I got some other stuff to say, but I don't want to, keep everybody up.
Sure.
Keep everybody.
Right after me, you can
Yeah.
go after. So I'll let Melik go and I'll say my piece and then you can say yours.
Yeah. So similar to what Tyron was saying, like as far as the committee themselves, unfortunately, the rule is there. I think that, on the one hand, they do have to kind of enforce the rule. And I think she did say she did kind of know that it was a banned substance and did it. But I think they need to take a hard look at the rule, especially given the current climate. Like Michael was saying, CBD, weed, hemp, THC, all these different products now are legal in most places. There's a different world we live in to a large extent, and it doesn't have certain kind of performance enhancing effects, especially also it's a known thing that it kind of lasts in your system for a while, things like that. So, it's not like like Sean was saying, don't make her run faster as far as we know. And I don't believe she took it like, on the day of the race or before the race. It was a little while before, like Hollis say, she found out something very traumatic in her life happened. That's like to find out from somebody, a reporter, like your biological mom passing away. It's like a lot of pressure. She's still young, this, that, and the third. Now, yes, she did take a substance that was banned, but I think they need to really take a hard look at that rule, especially, like I said, like Hollis has said, a lot of these people are vested in companies. They're promoting this in one hand and then, banning athletes. Even if I also think they could look at it to where even if it's, a fine, let's say if they want to feel like there could be a certain still effect or stigma or something, it could be more of a fine as opposed to banning an athlete for it. I think the NFL does something like that now, where it's more of a fine now as opposed to banning someone. I mean, I think with the current climate, with those kinds of products and things like that, I think they need to take a hard look. And it's unfortunate, she's young, she's in her prime, she's outspoken, was a lot of hype, and she's shattering records. And it's a time, one of her in her prime, her first Olympics. Now she's not going to get to race in that event, and I just hope she keeps her head straight, she stays focused, and she comes back strong. And maybe they'll let her get in the relay, because I know the ban ends around a certain time, and I don't know exactly how this thing works.
Melik,
but
sorry,
She's not in the relay.
No,
sorry
go ahead,
to cut you off. Yeah, they broke that news like an hour ago. She's not
okay.
She's not gonna be able to run in the relay.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
okay. So yeah, so she's not even gonna get that. So, it's unfortunate. Like I said, I know the rules are the rules. So, and she did kind of, break the rule, but it's just unfortunate. And I think they need to take a hard look at the rule, and because it seems pretty outdated.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And I'm gonna try to keep my piece a little bit short and sweet, but y'all know I can get and then let Town go off of that. I agree with everything what you guys said. You know what I'm saying? Like we all spoke
go
about
on,
it.
Mike. Go on.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with everything you guys said. You know what I'm saying? Like we all talked about it, and we said that the relief for me, at least, it wasn't like a PED or like some steroids or something like that she got popped for. Because a lot of, I think like Marion Jones and other stuff like that, who like we looked up to, they were killing it, and then they find out they were doing steroids. And if it's not her, forgive me, I don't want to put out a false negative, but a false narrative. But I do remember like a good like female athlete that was killing it, and then they come back, find out that she was doing stuff and took her medals away. You got Lance Armstrong doing different things like that, and that stuff does hurt the sport and hurt the image of the person and people who look up to them. Now, speaking of this whole thing with the weed thing, we all know, what I'm saying, that it's a modern day accepted drug now, and people want to say it's a gateway drug or whatever. To each his own. But I believe that this stems from something deeper than just her popping for weed, and it's like the part of the rule books, because like we all had said, and I know Tom's gonna touch on this, and I know Michael Phelps did get suspended before, what I'm saying, for the same thing as like, smoking weed and everything like that. Well, let's be honest here, man. These athletes go through a lot of stress with competition, media, what I mean, themselves, the Olympics, yet alone. And then this young lady, what I mean, she had to deal with the death of her mom, still trying to break record. People talking about her hair, people talking about her nails, people talking about how way she looked, her, You know what I mean? And especially as for a woman, especially a Black woman, to be attacked in so many different ways, either indirectly or directly, is tough. So she took a puff, you know what I'm saying, and smoked. And you're gonna rob this young lady of her dream to make it to the Olympics. The hard work that she did because of some weed. And like Malik said, it's an outdated rule. And I feel that, yes, it's a world thing and people want to make it like, a lot of us too, sometimes are too passive. Well, it's part of the rules. Look, there's a lot of things that was in the rules, especially that wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? It was in the rules that if a slave ran away, you got to take him back to his master and cut off his foot. That was a rule. Was that right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that in that level because I look at it from like, and it's going to be like into our next topic when we get into too, is like, it's always double standards, especially when it comes to people of color. And I'm always that guy sometimes to say those type of things because I'm looking at it from that perspective until I'm proven wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because we look at an individual like Michael Phelps, who they said was a chronic weed smoker. The man, I think he said he had like some almost borderline, like maybe autistic or some kind of level like that growing up. And they said he used to use that for coping, and they didn't vilify him. They made him feel like, oh, woe is he, and I feel so sorry for him, and he needs this to cope. But the man got his 8 medals. You know what I'm saying? I remember watching them Olympics and rooting for this cat. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not hating on them, and I'm not hating on him. How many basketball players, and I'm not saying it's a good thing, but if they do that now, them basketball players, half of the roster ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. Half of the rosters are not playing in these Olympics in the USA and other countries as well. So to me, I feel it's just a way to try to silence her. Like I said earlier, she was a very outspoken young lady. You know what I'm saying? She was proud about who she was. She was proud about the fact she wore her hair. She didn't care about nothing. She just like, I'm out here winning these races. And she had that kind of like that gusto, for lack of a better word. And she was just out there, you know what I mean, doing that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, especially in history, you see that where it's a person of color who's very confident, very like, boisterous, and don't let people shake them. They find ways to try to like demean them. Like when the Williams sisters was doing anything in tennis and their father was speaking up for them, they try to find ways to try to like bring them down to earth and kind of like get in their mind psychologically to try to take away from them and take away from their skill. Now, especially for somebody like her who representing the country, has to deal with this outside of the country and all that other stuff like that, I think it's just ridiculous, especially when you look at the history where you see like in Russia, how like the whole Russian, I forgot what team it was, or this like the country itself was like banned from the Olympics for a while because almost all their athletes was testing for PEDs. You know what I'm saying? So you would have somebody who get tested for PEDs, right? Get suspended and get the same kind of punishment as somebody who tested for smoking weed. To me, I think it's kind of ridiculous. And I do hope that they fix that because like I said, man, it's a shame that, this athlete and this person, like, as a kid, some kids dream to be, an Olympian or dream to be an NBA player or a baseball player or a football player or a doctor or something like that. And then somebody else to take away from your dream because of some outdated rule to try to stack the deck in their favor, especially when it comes to a world competition. It's stupid to me because it's like if you look at it from the perspective that in America, weed has been, accepted. Europe has been accepted in a lot of countries and a lot of other places to try to say that, okay, now in Olympic time, you can't do that. And we already know there's many cases in the Olympics where people got robbed of their gold medals and robbed of their chances because of cheating from the host country and host nation, different things like that. So it's unfortunate. And I'm just going to keep it at that because I don't want to go on too long. And Tyrone, you can go ahead and say your piece and then we can move on to the next topic.
Yeah. Don't worry, we're gonna get into some real race talk just now, because my next topic is crazy. But to touch on what you was talking about and Hollister was saying also with the Michael Phelps thing, to defend Michael Phelps a little bit, Michael Phelps actually, it was the Olympics, it was the 08 Olympics, and after the 08 Olympics, he tested positive oh God, I messed up. Sorry. He didn't test positive. The pictures came out in 2009 of him smoking the bong or whatever. And he never tested positive. In fairness to him, he never tested positive. He was suspended based on that picture. And the world championships were, I think, about 4 or 5 months away. He got suspended for 90 days. He got suspended 90 days for a picture. So I don't want to say, I understand what y'all was saying with the, with Michael Phelps, but he did get suspended and he lost sponsorships. He actually lost his sponsorships. Where Sha'cari has the full support of her sponsorship, and she only has a 30-day suspension. But she did test positive. That's the thing. And my thing with that is she picked the wrong time. She did it during the time trials. Like, if it was world championships, she wouldn't have nothing to worry about, because, you know, you could miss the world championships, even though that's like a big event. That's like basically like the second biggest event for track and field. But Michael Phelps got a bigger suspension, and he lost sponsorship, which is his money. So I can't really, they gave a fairer treatment for Phelps, because if anything, she got. So I know where y'all was coming from with it. That's why I was saying, let me feed off of what y'all was saying, because I didn't know if you guys were aware of that. But if you look it up, that he got suspended 90 days, he lost his sponsorships. I don't know, he probably got the sponsorship back like after, but he did lose money in sponsorships. He did get suspended, and he didn't test positive. It was actually a picture. Or a video. I don't know if it was a video, but it was a picture.
I think it was a picture for sure. And I do agree with you. That's what I was saying. After I want to let you finish. I just wanted to add this real quick.
No, that's it.
After like what you just said, like, I'm not saying that water is water. We understand that, you know, they're going to do their testing and different things like that. And honestly, back then it was a little bit different when it looked the viewpoint of what we can do and how people look at weed heads and stuff like that. So I understand that argument, but I want to say this, man. There's a lot of stuff goes on in the Olympics that we don't know. You heard about the Olympic cities where, like, these nations, people go out there, they smashing each other from different things, and they out there with all this crazy stuff, right? And you can't
even begin to talk about the stuff that goes on.
Exactly.
I already know exactly what you're talking about.
And my thing is that we don't know because we're not there, but we all know that when you get all these different nations around each other, they see each other as like a one big camp. And everybody looking at each other. You see somebody from Africa, somebody see somebody from, you know, Ireland or whatever. They're gonna be acting funny. My thing is that it's bound to stuff to happen. Look at the freaking Lockheed, what he was doing, that dumb stuff he was doing, right? After he was swimming. My thing is this. Now, people out there, they have their support systems where somebody, Michael Phelps could have been smoking weed, but they probably said, look, you're gonna be tested. Here, take this. It's gonna give you an inconclusive test, and you're gonna probably do that. Now, unfortunately for Sha'cari, she probably didn't have that. And I know a lot of people like who like the hood cats like, yo, then she ain't got like nobody will give her, you know, hints or how to, like, you know, pass a drug test, right? Some people might say that, but at the end of the day, look, I know rules are rules, and I understand that, and I know the stances were different. I just feel that, like Melik said, hit the nail on the head. It's an outdated rule, and I feel that banned substances should be something that's either going to do you harm, like we doing cocaine and all the other stuff like that. That's different. I don't think weed would do you harm. I don't know how it is, the effects of it, because I never smoked it. And performance enhancers, obviously. If it ain't nothing like those things, then I don't think like that should be a big deal. Like somebody smoking weed. Now, if she came there high to the event and she can't run, then that's different. But I'm saying that if she did that weeks ago,
people need to also relax.
That's what I feel.
And I heard one of y'all talking about how people are getting on her nails and her hair. But I have they ever heard of Gail Devers and Florence Griffith Joyner? They was doing the nails thing long before that, man.
Yeah.
You never know. She could be paying homage. She probably seen them growing up and like that style. Like, I don't see the issue with her hair, and I just want to see her run. I don't care what her hair looks like. Florence Griffith Joyner used to run with a half sleeve on her leg and one without one.
Yeah.
And that long hair flowing. Gail Devers had nails where she couldn't even go to the starting block. She had to put her knuckles there. She couldn't even, you know, so what's the big deal? Like, so now Sha'cari Richardson's doing it. It's a problem. Yeah. And she got colored hair. Who cares?
That's what it is. You know, society always try to find something, especially with people of color. Like I said, when they're doing something and they're proud of who they are and proud of what they're doing and confident in themselves, they got to find something to try to bring you down a notch. That's it. When the Williams was out there with the beads,
exactly. Like,
why they got the beads on? Why they doing this? Like, they always got some type of like something to say. You know what I'm saying?
They're talking about her arrogance. I've been watching track and field for umpteen years. What track and field runner you know that's not cocky and arrogant? Look at Bolt. Look at Maurice Green, Michael Johnson, Carlos. All these guys are arrogant. So for everybody to be talking about, oh, she's too cocky, and please, all of them are like that, and that's how you should be.
Yeah,
you're cocky and confident. I mean, so there's the Allison Felixes that just, are graceful and everything like that.
Yeah.
But these guys are cocky, man. So what? It's okay. It's confidence.
And honestly, I agree with you 100%.
That's all I got to say about that. Everybody just need to leave her alone. She's a 21-year-old having fun, doing what she's great at, and leave her alone.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of people hating because they can't do it. And my thing is that, look, with any athlete to make it to that level of professional skill, you have to have some level of arrogance. You have to feel in your mind that you're the best in the world. And she has proven that by racing and winning. Now, the unfortunate part, I know people wanted to run against Sherry Ann from Jamaica and see that really epic battle, but that's not going to happen, unfortunately, this year. And I'm not sure how old she is, and I'm not sure she'll be able to make it. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Shelly Ann is 34, so this might be it for her.
This might be her. So, what was the other guy named? Like Gatlin, Justin Gatlin.
Gatlin,
like he's still kicking. Man. He's still kicking it.
Nah,
I mean,
but
like, he's losing, but he's still.
Unfortunately, he's missing out because he pulled up lame in the finals, in the 100-meter final.
Yeah.
So he pulled his hamstring, so he's out. He's out for good. Even the relay, because in the relay you got to have the top 6 times to even be on the relay team.
So that sucks.
He won't be going to Tokyo, unfortunately. Yeah.
So, I mean, aside from that, but I'm just saying in general, like for him, but he was one of them juice heads too. You know what I'm saying? He got caught for that.
All right, but I'm a defend. Like I get that, and I get upset when people. I would hear the fans boo him and stuff, but he paid his dues. He paid his time. He came back and worked hard, and he's clean. And he went and raced. A lot of these guys, they get popped for drugs, and you never see them again. Justin Gatlin took his punishment, and he came back and competed, and he was one of Usain Bolt's top rivals.
No, I want to say this, and I'm not trying to vilify him because I do believe in second chance, and it's funny, ironically, we're gonna be talking about something like that just now. But my thing is that, I appreciate that and I respect him. And my thing is that for him to be a 39-year-old man to make an Olympic team, even though he's hurt and he can't, participate, I tip my hat off for that. He was beating young 20-year-old kids and still putting in. It wasn't like he was just barely beating them. You know what I'm saying? Like he was putting in that work. So unfortunately for him, like you said, they got some graceful people like Felix chick and stuff like that. No disrespect to her, and she's just a mom and stuff like that. So a lot of those things they're on their last leg. But even with her, she had the level like, yo, I'm the best and I'm nice, and that's how they got to this level. But all right, switching gears now. We all know the NBA playoffs are among us, right? And as you can see behind Hollister, we have Rachel Nichols and Maria Taylor. Now, I haven't been following the story as much. So
Hollister, move a little to your right so I don't have to see her face, man.
Now, with the Rachel Nichols thing, like I said, I had no issue with her. I don't really know the full story, so I'm gonna let Town and those guys elaborate more so because I woke up one morning and I heard a tweet talking about canceling Rachel Nichols and stuff like that. And then I had this audio playing of her speaking about, with one of the LeBron's PR guys and speaking about the pretty much saying that Maria Taylor, she's dope, but she's like a, how can I put a affirmative action kind of hire, you know what I mean? Like pretty much she got the position where she's at because of the fact that she's a Black and she's a woman. Now, granted, she didn't say it along those cut and dry terms. She's kind of was a little bit, vague with her description, but essentially pretty much saying that in a place that where they at, which is, most of the time with sports, a lot of guys don't really care to hear women's take and stuff like that on it. And for the fact that there are women in there at their spot, she probably like, look, I'm a woman, we both women, but I'm not gonna give up my spot for her to, get her career boost up. So she's kind of playing that card, but at the same time, being like a champion for women at the same time. So I'm gonna let the guys go on that, and I'm gonna say my piece in between. But I'm gonna let Tyrone. Tyrone, do you want to go first and kind of give us the background?
I'm jumping right in.
Let's go, Tyrone, Hollister, Melik, and then I'll say my piece. Go ahead, Tyrone.
What happened is like you just said, there was a recording approximately a year ago in the bubble with her and LeBron James' spokesperson. And come to find out, there's a little more info. Rich Paul was on that too. He didn't speak, but he was in it. That's LeBron right hand. That's Clutch, Mr. Clutch Sports, right? The recording proceeds to say, how she's getting at, she's saying Maria, it's like a she was saying ESPN had to clean up their mess with diversity. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but she was basically saying they had to clean up the diversity disparity that they had back in the day. So they basically, she caught some feelings off of Maria Taylor, you know, getting her spot pretty much. And, you know, they were saying it because, you know, she was Black or whatever. And that wasn't even just, not only that is what bothered me. You basically, but it was a 5-minute conversation where she didn't know she was recorded. And what happened was LeBron James' spokesperson, now this is a year ago, and his spokesperson basically said I paraphrasing again, but he was saying how tired the Black Lives Matter movement was tiring. Like he was tired of it. I don't know if he's saying he was tired of it or he was saying it's tiring. And she was giggling in the background when he said it. So that was one thing that set me off with it. Another thing that set me off with also is, I'm not sure when, but there was a woman, an African-American woman, who shared Taylor the tape. And so she's known about this. They suspended the woman that gave Maria Taylor the tape for 2 weeks without pay. After that, I guess the woman was fed up. She ended up quitting. She ended up quitting ESPN. So Maria Taylor has known all of this information that about Rachel Nichols for a year, and she kept it a G. She kept it G. She didn't bring it broadcasted all over the place like, look, this is what this lady did to me, blah, blah, blah. She's a hater, but she didn't do none of that. She kept it on the low for a whole year. And then it happened to come out. Like I was on YouTube and I started to hear it come out. So that's how I started to hear it. And then I was hearing other people talk about it. And then sure enough, it came out on YouTube before it started to spread. Now, once it came out, everybody's throwing dirt on Rachel Nichols. Not everybody knew it was a year ago. People thought it was something recent. But then all of a sudden, people realized this was from a year ago. And then the girl that told Maria Taylor gets suspended and stuff like that. That's not happening if that was a white person. Let's keep it 100, right? You're not telling, like, you're not doing this to a white person at all. I don't care what anybody says. When Michelle Beadle snitched on Stephen A. Smith about something he said about the Ray Rice situation, she got on Stephen A. Smith and did the same thing that this girl did. She went and said something about Stephen A. on the air on some other network, and Stephen A. got suspended for what was said. I guess Stephen A. said something about, men shouldn't hit women, but women shouldn't also provoke men to hit them. Something like that, he said. So, but then the thing with it is Rachel goes on The Jump yesterday and gives this apology. My thing is, this been going on this happened a year ago. You're only apologizing because you got caught and the shit leaked. Excuse my language, sorry. It leaked. You only apologizing because it leaked. So who really is accepting that apology? And I heard that they said that a while back. I don't know if when it first happened, but she reached out to Maria to apologize, and Maria never responded. To this day, she never responded. She doesn't work with her. They don't do live sideline interviews with the show, the Countdown crew, which I didn't notice, because she refused to work with Rachel, and ESPN basically said, well, if Rachel can't do it, then none of the people are gonna work live sideline reporting during the countdown. So if you watch the countdown, you may see that certain people are not live or whatever. But I don't know why they were sitting there. They had nothing to do with it. And to be honest, after hearing that, and then my biggest issue is LeBron James having his spokesperson, who's a white male, say this, and you, LeBron, is always on point with everything. He always knows what's going on in his inner circle. He knows this happened. Why does that man still work for you when you know he said this about the Black Lives Matter movement, about Maria Taylor, about the girl? Well, he probably didn't say nothing about Maria Taylor and the girl, but the point is he was in the room when that was spoken about, and then he continued on with his own discussion. Rich Paul, why didn't Rich Paul say something? If these guys are supposed to be so-called, quote-unquote, like leaders and stuff about LeBron. There's a lot of things I always say things when we bring up LeBron. I'll be like, there's a lot of slick stuff that I don't like about him and everything. And this is some of it right here, because LeBron, he's pretty much phony in my opinion, because he talks a lot about all these Black Lives Matter movements and everything. And if you notice last year, you saw a lot of these NBA players out there pre-marching and everything, but LeBron James is nowhere to be found in that. Not saying he's obligated to do that, but I saw Jaylen Brown, I saw this guy, I saw Steph Curry, I saw these guys out there talking, Giannis. I didn't see LeBron James. I didn't see them. And then when a spokesperson like that speaks like that, and a year later he still works for you, and you knowingly know this is going on, something with him and how he still has this man working for his team saying what he said about Black Lives Matter. And then I heard rumors too that Rachel Nichols is pretty much in their little clique also, but because she always gets the interviews with LeBron James and all that. So I don't know, man. It's a lot of things I've heard so far. That's pretty much the best I could give you right now. I don't want to really take up too much time talking, although I've taken up a lot of time already, but it's too much. It's too much stuff right now, and it's making me sick to my stomach. I don't know why she still has a job there, to be honest with you. I don't, because if Maria Taylor was the one that did that, she would have been gone already.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I'm gonna let Hollister go, Malik, and then I'm gonna say my piece on that. So y'all go ahead. Thank you for filling us in, T.
Yeah, this whole thing is a damn mess, like a complete mess. Like ESPN needs to, do something immediately, because they need to do something to Rachel Nichols, honestly. Like, she's a whole dub in my book. Like, I was actually a fan, and I had no problems with it. But after hearing all this stuff, it's like, nah, you doing too much. Like, ESPN got to do something, because look at Paul Pierce. They fired him immediately. Rachel Nichols, this whole thing happened a year ago, now gets leaked out, and now nobody want to do anything about it. They canceled the jump today, and then I recently saw, before we started recording, that neither one of them are doing the silent report, and Malika Andrews was going to do it. And I think they have Maria Taylor hosting in the finals instead of Rachel Nichols. So that was a whole nother thing too. But ESPN got to do something. Like, this stuff can't keep happening. Like, this, everybody's like, nowadays, you go these smartphones, you can record anything without nobody knowing anything, and everything gets leaked out. Like, come on, ESPN. Like, I love the channel and all that stuff, but like, these people that work behind the scenes, like, I gotta have some disciplinary actions going on, because this stuff can't keep happening. And honestly, like, a lot of people are not going to want to work for the company. And, a lot of the shows, it's too much. It's really too much. Like, how much longer this? Y'all going to play this card? Like, all right, the white card, black card. Like, come on. You got to get it together on this one. That's all I got on it. It's not much. It's just honestly pissing me off that it's like this still going on. Like, this pissing me off.
Gotcha. Molly?
Yeah, so kind of like, Taryn Hollister was saying, it's a situation where it does bring to question certain things. Now, I'm not saying that I know her heart, or I think she's, Rachel Nichols is particularly, a certified racist, or this, that, and the third, anything like that. I would say that I definitely think her comment was wrong and misguided. I understand that she felt away because they took something away from her that was in her contract. She was supposed to host the finals, and then, with everything going on, ESPN decided to go in another direction. So she felt away, probably threatened and hurt that, this isn't my contract and you guys are taking this thing away from me. So I think it was more about her than Maria. But at the same time, you don't throw your colleague or someone else under the bus just because you're upset with management or the higher ups, so they're doing something wrong. Because like you said, Michael, in her comments, she wasn't directly trying to be, a certain way or as brazen with it. Now, once again, it's still, not right. It wasn't worded well, and it brings certain things to question. And even that other piece about the kind of laughing about the Black Lives Matter thing and this, that, and the third, it makes people feel like, okay, because she was someone that a lot of people looked at as a ally. And I'm not saying she wasn't an ally at all, but it's going to bring up questions for some people. But beyond that piece, as far as Maria Taylor, you know, she's doing her thing, she working hard, and they decided to go with her. You know, she didn't do something behind their back, plot against you, or do certain other things. And you know, so for you made it a little more personal about her by bringing up those other pieces. You could have made kind of a similar point of being frustrated with ESPN and them not honoring your contract or what was agreed upon without having to bring her into it or throw that other piece into it. Even if you feel like some of that was what was going on or the logic behind it. And, you know, I mean, I'll interested to see what Maria Taylor does because I know her contract is supposed to expire with ESPN soon. So she might renew or she might decide not to, you know, stay there. So I think that'll be interesting to see what she does or what happens with that.
Not, not,
Yeah.
You
Tony, you
was
want
it's
to say
gonna say
actually
something?
it's
something?
actually in
Yeah.
2 weeks, July
Okay.
20th. Her contract ends in the middle of the finals, so if she feel like it, she could just walk off at like game 5.
Yeah. Mel, you finished or no?
Yeah. So I mean, once again, I just with you know, Rachel Nichols and the whole Maria Taylor thing.
Mm.
I do think it probably was a little more about her frustration with ESPN than whatever, but her comments definitely were not appropriate, definitely not in a workspace. And I don't think it's right to kind of throw somebody else into a mix just because you upset with something that's going on at work. Maybe she felt a little threatened too, because it's hard being a woman in that business. Then she's an older woman now. Maria Taylor's younger and making noise and moving into that kind of space because she's kind of like that NBA person.
Yeah.
As far as, you know, a woman in that space. So it could be a lot of factors that prompted her to go in that direction. So yeah, it's just an unfortunate thing, and I mean it's between them, and we'll see if they could work it out and what ESPN decides to do. And yeah.
I agree with 100% what you said, Mel, like in town and everybody else. And I want to say this. I don't think necessarily, like I said, I'm gonna be, you know, optimist. I don't want to say that she's, you know, a racist. You know what I'm saying? I just think that she was just so focused on herself, like Malik said, and the fact that she's a woman and see the competition. Like, you know, like Malik says, like, look, she getting older. You know what I mean? They gonna have to retire her heels soon. You know what I'm saying? Move her out. You know what I'm saying? And like these new women are coming in and she's getting threatened. But I question this, and I was listening to what Tom was explaining, and it's like, why? You know what I'm saying? Why take that time to record that call? You know what I mean? I think a lot of people have to look at it from that perspective. I think that was something that was calculated. I don't want to say that LeBron is like, you know, was like part of her movement. I think LeBron was either using it, if he had his guy do this and he knew it, it was like having like a trump card in the back burner. Like, if you guys say something about me about this, I got this, I'm gonna release it. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. But my thing is
Mike,
this. Yeah, go ahead.
not to cut you off, but when you think about it, right? Like, you ever thought that maybe she's said this before and they probably just wanted to get it on tape this time?
That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
Right?
My point is that I don't think that LeBron's people is agreeing with her in the sense that, yeah, they feel that way. They probably heard her say that and be like, yo, we need to get this on tape. And my
exposure.
My exposure, but
he actually LeBron's guy was actually worse because he said he's sick of the Black Lives Matter movement, basically.
Yeah,
so what he said was actually worse than what she said.
But it's just like an interrogation tactic where like you see some people say certain things, right? They'll just say like, yeah, I can't stand those people too. For you to like, yeah, I hate them. Like, oh, really? I was just lying. I just want to hear what you have to say. And also you look at it from this perspective. Her comments are super insensitive. When you put it all together, right? She said it at a time. Now, let's be honest. ESPN is Disney. You know, they're part of Disney. They're part of the umbrella. So they like, when you think of sports, everybody think about ESPN. Period. Like they got Fox Sports. Nobody really watched that. They got your other stuff like that, Turner Networks, but ESPN is the sports conglomerate. When you think about sports, you think about ESPN, period. When we was kids growing up, ESPN, you know what I'm saying? So they have their hand in the game. And so they're business, and corporations gonna like milk things the best way they can, just like a promoter. They realized that the bubble, Black Lives Matter was a big topic for the players. Maria Taylor, young, Black woman, looks good, you know what I'm saying? She, why not use her as the face of this whole thing? Because now that she's the face, it's Black people, Black Lives Matter. We're showing that we're in support by making the cast pretty much Black. Rachel's like, nah, it's like a diversity hire. They're only doing this, and she's saying it indirectly, they're only doing this because of this situation, which is an insensitive topic, because now she said, look, this is in my contract. They're taking away stuff from my contract, right? Because of this, and because it's a Black thing, that's why they're doing it. So that's where it shows where a lot of people who are allies, right? And I'm not trying to say this in a way, and I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. They take these things, right? And they understand they can do that because it's not affecting them directly, right? If you're not being bullied in school per se, right? It's easy for the person not being bullied to say, man, keep your chin up, man. You could do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna support you, because they're not part of they're not the ones getting snubbed or being bullied, right? So at the end of the day, they're coming from a place of comfort. So she's coming from a place of comfort. She's white, you know what I mean? She don't have to worry about that. She's been in this thing. She's a woman also. She's been here and done that, right? She's not really thinking about it on that level. Whereas somebody like Maria Taylor, she's a woman. She's Black at that. So now she had to work twice as hard, and her opportunity is not as big as Rachel Nichols. You know what I'm saying? Rachel Nichols has been doing this for a long time. I know more of her than Maria Taylor. I see her from time to time. Malika Andrews, I kind of know because she was a big person in the bubble too, and one of the people used to cover the Bucks, so you kind of see her a lot too. But Maria Taylor, I hardly even see her. There's a lot of other women in ESPN you barely see that work for the company. I'm talking about for
Maria
me
Taylor
personally.
been around for a few years.
No, I'm not saying she hasn't.
Because of college football.
Yeah,
because she started off in off with college football, so I always saw her and stuff like that, doing the sideline reports in college football. Yeah. Then she started doing basketball like late 2019.
Yeah. Like
she's been around for a few years.
No, I've seen her, but I'm just trying to say you don't see her as
much.
Like,
I understand. No, I'm just. So, I get what you're saying. You're just telling me how
so I'm just saying
started seeing her.
Yeah, so I'm just saying,
I'm just
letting you know for a couple of years. Now I've seen her for a couple of years too, but I'm just trying to say you don't see her as often as if you will see like a Rachel Nichols who got the jump, who got different things like that. And speaking real quick about the jump in the Paul Pierce situation, he got fired. Yeah, he did. What he did is different because like he out there smoking weed, got strippers twerking on him. He throwing money to it's like for a Disney company that's supposed to be a wholesome thing. He got this kind of like
I ain't trying to hear that. I ain't trying to hear that Disney. I ain't trying to hear that.
No, hear me out. No. It's a corporation thing. Like for instance, like if you
they do actually make people and Disney does make people sign stuff or agree not to
do certain things.
Have certain images outside of their job and stuff.
Exactly.
Like
so it's like if you part of that and you part of that thing, like Disney's supposed to be a home family brand, and you out there, you got girls twerking on you, smoking a big spliff, like you know what I mean? You liable to get fired. You know what I'm saying? So that one, aside from that,
I get that, man. But come on, bro. Like he was dancing with strippers. This girl literally is recorded a year before.
No, I
throwing
get
somebody,
that,
throwing her teammate under the bus.
No, we get that, but she doesn't understand. Like as far as ESPN's
she gets us. All they did was take the finals away from her, bro. Because it's like what you and this is one thing that you always, it's a color thing, bro. Like if Maria Taylor did that, son, she would not have a job.
I don't think Maria Taylor would. That's lose all her I'm job. Saying. I think that they would have put her out in ambiguity. Like they would have had it like in a way cover like
Mike,
TV baseball. No, hear me out. Hear me out. Just hear me out. Hear me out. Better than that. With the Rachel Nichols thing, hear me out. With the Rachel Nichols thing, when I heard the recording, from the pieces that I heard, like Malik said too, she played her words very well. Now we can read between the lines and see what she's saying, right? Because then she had a second piece where she's like, "Oh, it's a male-dominant world," and blah blah blah. So she kind of make it a man versus woman thing, even though she was okay using her privilege as a white woman to get the steps that she got, right? To get those steps, because why? She was able to get them, and now she's threatened by this person. And I agree with you. I do think there'd have been a stronger, right, repercussion for Maria Hill if she said something like
Yeah,
that. So,
termination.
Maria Taylor if she said that. So I understand that. When I'm saying that in regards to the Paul Pierce thing and the Rachel Nichols thing, is two different animals on that. My thing with Rachel Nichols that she, right? And like I said, I have to hear the whole thing to know she
Yeah,
was
you gotta
playing the
listen to it.
card and saying that, look, she also feels that because of Black Lives Matter, this is the only reason why Maria Taylor is being utilized at this point, which is a truthful statement because at the end of the day, ESPN is a company. ESPN want to maximize their profit and maximize, you know, their interest. So they're gonna like, you know what? All right, right now, Maria Taylor, she's young, she's a Black woman. Black Lives Matter, we're gonna throw her in there. We're gonna put Malika Andrews up there. We're gonna have these other women or other people of color around showing the support for these athletes as well as showing the support for the nation to keep our brand what it is, ESPN, right? Now, people like Fox, they wouldn't care. They're like, nah, who cares? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to say. So I understand what you're saying, Tom, from that perspective. And I don't want to believe, and I'm not trying to say, I don't put it past if she is an undercover racist. However, I don't think it was a case. She was just being a selfish person coming from a place of privilege. And that's why she had the crocodile tears when she was apologizing and things like that, because she realized that, look, you know what
So
I
what
mean?
she get? Why she's giggling when LeBron James spokesperson talking about he tired of Black Lives Matter? She's laughing about that, so she thinks it's funny.
That part.
You know what I'm
Like I
saying?
said, no, I agree with you. Like I said, I agree with
You
you.
know what I'm
So
saying?
for me,
Nah, you just
a lot of
listen to
different
the
things.
just listen.
I'll have to
Yeah,
listen
when
to
you
the
get a
whole
chance,
recording.
listen to the audio.
And
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
listen
like
to
a
audio.
5-minute audio.
So I'm gonna listen to audio and
But
take that. But real quick,
my
go
thing,
ahead.
yeah, no. Go ahead, man. I don't want to
Nah, I
kill
mean,
it.
look, man. I mean, look, I'm just saying, cause we running pressed for time. So I'm just gonna say, like, we all pretty much have the consensus that what she did was wrong, and that I'm glad
Yeah.
that they made a decision to make. I like Malika Andrews. You know what I'm saying? I think that she'll be a good fit to cover the finals and stuff like that. And sometimes you gotta let people see and understand that. I will say this: I do believe in second chances. You know what I mean? We all have fallen short and did certain things. I do believe that there's certain things that will require, especially in your field, require you to get a second chance. Now, there's certain things that's unspeakable and you can't get a second chance, but I'm not into like, oh, second chance. Or that. Yeah, that's between you and God. You get a second chance with God, but as far as your job or what you're doing, nah. But this case, based on what I'm hearing, I have to hear the rest of it. If it's just her just, laughing or like not even laughing, just her like pretty much just upset about her privilege being taken away, then I agree that she should get a second chance or be more up on a watch and on a short leash. If it's something that's more racial, then yeah, then ESPN needs to wash their hands of her and move forward and replace her. But switching gears real quick, because we're really pressed for time. I want to talk about the NBA Finals. As we know, the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Phoenix Suns are about to start sometime today. Hopefully, I get this video out today. If not today, probably sometime tomorrow. So y'all know the game will be. Game one will be played after this is done, and we're gonna give our predictions. I'm gonna lean towards real quick. I'm just gonna get mine out the way. I'm gonna lean towards the Suns winning it because I don't know what the health of Giannis, and even if Giannis is healthy, I feel the way the Bucks have been playing. Sometimes, even though Chris Middleton hasn't been stepping up, and maybe they might play inspired basketball because they're in the finals. I just feel that a lot of time the Bucks make a lot of stupid mistakes. That the Suns are a well coached team. They have a lot of firepower. They have enough bigs to match their bigs, and they have decent defenders and they have shooting for days. I do feel that the Suns can beat the Bucks, so I would say the Suns in 6, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks win. And either way, I'm happy for both Chris Paul and Giannis at this point because they had this opportunity. So that's why I'm saying. So we can go Menelik, Hollison, Tyrone, and then we're gonna wrap it. We have like about 5 minutes, guys. So let's try to, wrap it. So go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, similar to what you're saying, I'm leaning toward the Suns. I think with CP3's leadership, Book balling, and Ayton stepping into his own, and the uncertainty with Giannis, I'm leaning toward the Suns. I think, like you said, sometimes the Bucks, even though they've been way better this postseason with Drew and Chris Middleton really taking another step, I would say that when it comes to those crucial kind of plays and minutes, sometimes the Bucks can make those errors, and I think having a player like CP3 will help the Suns in those moments, and a good coach like Monty Williams. And once again, there's also the health of Giannis to come into question. But I do think the Bucks showed a lot of grit and a lot of skill stepping up without Giannis the other day, and showed that they not just about him. They could still play a certain way. Now, granted, Giannis is a big deal. is going to matter. And I do think he'll probably try to definitely come back during this series. So we should see how it plays out. Like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks win, but I'm leaning toward the Suns. And yeah.
All right. So I'm also leaning towards Phoenix. I'd say they probably win in game 5 or 6. And there's a strong possibility that Giannis plays tonight. I think he's a game time decision. And the other night I was watching Inside the NBA and Chuck brought it up. He said Milwaukee plays better when Giannis is not there. There's more ball movement. There's more shooters who's open and this and that. So if Giannis does plays, all Phoenix got to do is pretty much double team him or lock him down. But I'm leaning towards Phoenix. They have more depth. Monty Williams, he's a genius coach. He knows how to make tons of adjustments. And the only person that's been in the finals out of both teams is Jay Crowder. He was there last year, so he kind of has that experience. He's also, a good veteran. But I'm leaning towards Phoenix in 5 or 6, and I got Devin Booker winning Finals MVP if they win.
NBA Finals, can't wait to watch it. I got Milwaukee. I don't know what any of y'all talking about. A 50% Giannis, I got Milwaukee. They got a deeper bench. You could bring in Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, Bryn Forbes. You could even dust off Jeff Teague. Thanasis Antetokounmpo always, plays at the end of the quarter. He's gonna get you, give you a little energy. PJ Tucker's there. You got Giannis, Kraut. Their big three to me is better than Phoenix's big three. Giannis, Middleton, Holiday. I put them over Booker, Paul, and Ayton. And let's not forget how Brook Lopez has been playing since Giannis been out. He's been playing like the Brooklyn Nets, Brook Lopez in the post. That all-star Brook Lopez. And if Giannis is 50% or he doesn't play, now listen, don't get this, but I'm predicting this as if he's playing. I got Milwaukee in either 5 or 6. We gotta. I give respect to Phoenix and how they play, but they kind of have been the luckiest team in the NBA playoffs. They got to beat the Lakers without Anthony Davis. They got to beat the Nuggets without Jamal Murray. That Clipper series could have went either way because there was a couple of games that Phoenix won that was nail biters. So it's not like they blew through the Western Conference. Only Denver is the one they beat up badly. And yeah, they did beat up the Lakers too. And I don't want to make too much excuses on injuries because if a team has an injury, you got to keep playing. But now they're going to the finals and playing a team without Giannis, possibly. But I like Milwaukee and how they played and how they stepped up. I know you guys feeling a little bitter about Milwaukee beating the Brooklyn Nets, so maybe that's why y'all a little salty. Y'all a little salty picking Phoenix. You know what I mean? But that's probably it. But yeah, I'm going with Milwaukee, guys. I'm gonna be the one. So it's 3-1 Phoenix over Milwaukee. Yeah, I'm talking about 3-1 as in the 4 of us. The vote. I'm gonna be that one picking Milwaukee.
No, but I I agree with you. Like, I mean, if Giannis is a little bit healthy, I think that injury is big, and I do think they have enough sometimes to play. But I feel that without one of your cogs, it does make it a little bit, more difficult. But like you said, I wouldn't be surprised either team win. I'm just happy for both sides. Whoever wins, let the best man win. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching us. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. It does help the channel grow. I want to thank Mental Lake Hollister and Town for joining me this evening. Yeah, I mean, we had some good topics today. We're going to try to speak on some more stuff. We have the UFC 264 coming up this weekend, so we'll probably touch on that. But anyway, I want to thank you guys again so much. Please enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your week.
Thank you.
God bless.
Good night.